Have you ever checked your DistroKid withdrawal status, seen the words processed by Tipalti, and then open your PayPal account only to find out there was absolutely nothing there? That is exactly what happened to me. On June 26, 2026, I requested a withdrawal from DistroKid worth 566.14 US dollars. 2 days later, the status had changed. The payment appeared to be processed, but there was nothing in my PayPal account. So naturally, I started wondering whether something had gone wrong. Was this a normal delay? Was my payment stuck somewhere in the system? Or was there something else happening behind the scene? So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what happened. Reveal nearly 2,000 US dollars worth of DistroKid payment history, explain what I learned from the experience, and answer a question many independent artists are asking: does DistroKid actually pay? So let's get started. The story began on June 26, 2026. I logged into DistroKid and requested a withdrawal worth exactly 566.14 US dollars. For some people, that may not sound like a huge amount. But for independent artists, that's real money. It is the result of songs being streamed, royalties being collected, and months of work slowly turning into income. So after submitting the withdrawal request, I expected the money to arrive fairly soon. Throughout the day, I checked my PayPal account for a few times, but there was no sign of the payment. So at this point, I wasn't concerned because I assumed everything was processing normally. So when June 28 arrived, I noticed something had changed. When I checked my withdrawal history, DistroKid now displayed the message processed by our payment processor, Tipalti. At first, I thought this was a good news. I assumed the payment had already been sent and that the money would arrive soon in PayPal. So I immediately opened PayPal expecting to see the funds, but there was nothing there. No income payment, no pending transactions, no email notification. Actually, absolutely nothing. So that is when I started wondering whether this was a normal delay or if there was actually a problem with the withdrawal. So since the money still hadn't appeared, I started researching. I searched YouTube, Reddit, Facebook groups, and even music forums to see whether other artists had experienced the same thing. What I found out was very interesting. Some artists reported receiving their payouts very quickly. Others said they had waited several business days. Many of them were asking the same exact question I was asking. What does processed by Tipalti mean? Why is not my money in PayPal yet? How long does DistroKid actually take to pay? So the more stories I read, the more curious I became. However, while researching other artist experiences, I noticed something in my own DistroKid account that completely changed the way I viewed the situation. And once I saw it, I became much less worried about the missing payment. So while waiting for the payout, I decided to review my entire DistroKid payment history. Looking through the records reminded me that this wasn't my first withdrawal. My first payout arrived in December 24 for only 19.71 US dollars. Then came the month of January in year 2025 again with a payout of 133.55 US dollars. A little later, another payout arrived for 126.29 US dollars. So throughout 2025 and 2026, I continued receiving royalties through DistroKid. Some payouts were smaller, including amounts like 14.60 US dollars, 14.24, $10, and 0.23 US dollars. None of those amounts were life-changing, but every one of them represented real music royalties paid out to my account. Then I came across one entry that immediately stood out. So as I continued scrolling through my payment history, one payment immediately got my attention. In October 2025, I received a payout worth 1,067.45 US dollars, more than 1,000 US dollars. So seeing that payout reminded me that DistroKid had already paid me a substantial amount in the past. So if they had successfully paid more than 1,000 US dollars before, it didn't make much sense to assume they would suddenly stop paying a smaller withdrawal worth 566 point something US dollars. So that realization helped me take a step back and look at the situation more objectively. Then I noticed something even more interesting. In every successful withdrawal in my history showed the same status message processed by our payments processor, Tipalti. The same status appeared on the small payouts. The same status appeared on the larger payouts. The same status appeared at the payout or on the payout worth more than $1,000. So in other words, the exact status message that was making me nervous on my latest withdrawal was actually the same status that appeared on all my previous successful payments. So once I recognized the pattern, I felt much more confident that the payment was simply taking time to be completed. Even after that realization, the money still hadn't arrived. June 27 had passed, June 28, then June 29. So during those days, I found myself checking PayPal more often than I should have. Every email notification got my attention. Every time my phone vibrated, I wondered whether the payout had finally arrived. If you've ever waited for a payment from a platform, you probably know exactly what that feels like. So even though I had already been paid many times before, there was still part of me wondering when the money would finally show up. Then June 30 arrived. That morning, I picked up my phone and checked my notifications. And finally, I saw the message I had been waiting for. PayPal notified me that I had received 28,322.65 pesos from Tipalti. After requesting the withdrawal on June 26, after seeing the status change on June 28, after spending days wondering whether something was wrong, the payment had finally arrived. And at that moment, all the uncertainty disappeared because I knew that the withdrawal had been completed successfully. The money was real, the payout was real. And DistroKid had delivered what exactly it owed. Now, that it is July 2026 and I look back on the experience, there are few lessons that stand out. First, seeing processed by Tipalti doesn't necessarily mean the money will instantly appear in your PayPal account. There may still be a waiting period before the payment reaches you. Second, payout timelines can vary. Some withdrawals may arrive quickly while others may take several business days. And third, it is important to look at the bigger picture. Instead of focusing on a single withdrawal, I look at my entire payout history and realize that DistroKid had consistently paid me over time. So after receiving nearly 2,000 US dollars in royalties through DistroKid, I think I'm finally in a position to answer the question many artists are asking. Is DistroKid legit? Based on my personal experience, my answer to that is yes. My payout history currently totals approximately 1,971.81 across multiple withdrawals. I have received small payouts, I have received larger payouts, I have received a payout worth more than 1,000 US dollars, and most recently, I successfully received my 566.40 US dollars withdrawal. That is not marketing, that is not speculation, that is my actual payment history. Now, does that mean DistroKid is perfect? The answer is no. Customer support can be slow, waiting for payouts can be stressful, and payments are not always instant. But if you are asking whether DistroKid has paid me for my music royalties, the answer is clearly yes. Now, I am curious about your experience. If you have used DistroKid, how long did your payouts take to arrive? Did you receive your money the same day, after a few days, or did you have to wait even longer? And if you are watching this video because your withdrawal currently says processed by Tipalti, let me know how long you have been waiting. Your comments could help other artists understand what to expect and may even help someone who's feeling stressed while waiting for their own payout. So if this video helped you, please leave a like and consider subscribing for more honest reviews, creator income updates, music distribution experiences, and the payment proof videos. Thank you so much for watching. God bless. Keep creating great music, and I'll see you in the next video.